Well, tomorrow is the big day.
I hear there is an election coming up.
I've heard something about that here recently.
Well, it is Monday night, but we're going to go ahead and talk to our analysts a little early because of tomorrow's election. Thank you, Kevin Knuth, John McGauley, Kevin Leininger. We appreciate you being here. The first thing we want to get to is a bit of a discrepancy that we noticed last week in the polls for the 3rd District race, and we have those two polls. We want to take a look at those for you. This first poll, the Mike Downs Center for Indiana Politics, obviously Stutzman a commanding lead over Tom Hayhurst. And then take a look at the second number. That one was commissioned by the Hayhurst campaign, shows Hayhurst in the lead. Now we're going to get to our analysts about that in a minute, but first we want to hear from the candidates themselves.
And we were concerned about what we felt was some of the flawed data coming down the pike the last few days, and wanted to make sure we had good, solid data going forward.
I'm not sure where he got that poll done. We looked up the firm that did it. We can't even find a website for them. Looks like they're out of Indianapolis, and so I think it's a poll that probably is not a legitimate poll.
All right, so what do you guys make of it, Kevin Knuth?
Well, first of all, Riggs Research is a real polling firm. They've done polling for candidates for at least the last 20 years that I'm aware of, and so they're definitely real. They do good polls for the most part. Look, one poll's not right, and we don't know which one. I will tell you the Hayhurst campaign has taken tracking polls all along this contest, and they thought this race was definitely in the single digits. They have steadily been gaining ground all summer long. When the Downs Center poll came out, they were very shocked by the results because it's so different from what they've been hearing from other sources.
All right, do you agree with that?
Even nationally, you see this kind of difference when you poll likely voters versus registered voters. I think even the trend nationally now is that there's more Democrat votes among the registered voters, but if you poll the people actually likely to go out, you see the numbers like you've seen in multiples of these polls in Hayhurst-Stutzman.
Let's talk about the Allen County Superior Court judge race. This is one we haven't had a chance to get to, and Kevin Leininger, I'll get your thoughts on it in a second. But first, we want to show you a somewhat controversial ad in this race.
Leadership with integrity.
Wendy Davis.
Tough on crime.
Wendy Davis.
20 years as a prosecutor.
Wendy Davis.
Caring for our children.
Wendy Davis.
Demonstrate.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the kid. That just sounded kind of funny, like I just sucked some helium or something. The reason that ad is controversial is because if Wendy Davis had anything at all to do with it, it would put her over her spending limit. By law, there's a $10,000 spending limit in this particular judge's race. Now, Davis says she knows nothing about that ad, has no connection to the group behind it. Kevin, your thoughts? Do you believe her? Do you take her at her word on that?
Well, she wants to be a judge. She wouldn't lie, right? I think I do believe her as far as it goes, but there's been a lot of this going on both sides. Originally, there was the challenge to Judge Scheibenberger's place on the ballot, done by a group of frankly, a lot of whom were Matt Kelty supporters, maybe out for revenge when Judge Scheibenberger was the judge in that case that she said she knew nothing about as well. So either she knows about it and is tacitly approving it, or it's being done without her knowledge but still to her benefit.
This is an important race, too, guys. It's a three-way race. You've got Scheibenberger, you've got Davis, and you've got Lewis Griffin. Kevin, real quickly, I think voters need to be updated on this race. What would you urge them to do? It's a different kind of race than we normally focus on.
First of all, everybody's behaving badly here, in my opinion. It's that point where it's just kind of shocking to me as to how people are behaving. I think that people need to study up on this a little bit, understand the controversy. Basically, Scheibenberger has been disciplined before for some actions he took outside of the courtroom that caused some problems. He's beyond those issues now. However, he may have a partial complaint against Wendy Davis, although this newest campaign ad I don't think she had anything to do with. It's just one of those funny rules about campaign finance in Indiana.
Okay, let's talk about the referendum. That was one of the questions in our poll that we commissioned along with the News Sentinel. And we asked, this is a statewide poll, we asked, would you vote for a school referendum if your district had one? 57%, as you can see, said no, we would not support it. Now, the reason this is a big issue here is because, as you know, EACS tomorrow is asking voters to approve an $8 million referendum. What do you take away from that? We talked to Carol Green, the superintendent. She said because it's a statewide poll, you can't take a look at those numbers because it doesn't relate to what's going on here. John?
I think this is getting swept up kind of in the national trend that says enough's enough. People aren't looking at what the taxes are going for these days. They're looking at the scope of government's too big. We feel like we're paying too much money. It's all getting lost in the noise, and I think East Allen County is going to be lesser for that.
And do you think, Kevin, very quickly?
Well, I think East Allen is butting up against a problem that people have with the way the district is being managed. Southwest Allen, a couple of years ago, did have a referendum passed. So I think if you want to make the case to the voters and can prove that you have the need and will spend the money wisely, you can still do it. They just haven't made that case.
Okay, well, voters will decide tomorrow then.
Yes, they will. We'll be talking with you guys plenty more tomorrow. More Dick Dodge, Cody Ross, which I know you guys want to get to. They're just waiting to get to that race. We'll be back with weather in just a moment.
Years as a litigator.
Wendy Davis.
Caring for our children.
Wendy Davis.
Demonstrates fairness.
Wendy Davis.
A track record of results handling the toughest cases.
Wendy Davis.